lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP Show. We are live for your NXT recap. Sorry about my voice. It's a little scratchy today, so took a little bit of medicine earlier. Hoping it gets better about tomorrow. Tomorrow's a busy day. This week is busy, so gotta keep pulling through. I think it's allergies. I'll be fine. No need to worry about that. I'm just retweeting that on live. NXT, good show tonight. Big show next week. Really big show next week. So a couple quick announcements before we get started. Give some people some time to get in here. Interesting show tonight. It was an interesting show tonight. It was a good show. It was a good show tonight. Very good show. The Grayson Waller stuff was great. Obviously, everything they do with the women is fantastic, but it was a great show. So, definitely. Tomorrow's a big day. So let's kind of get to the announcement. Obviously, the exclusive channel and the Discord. I mean, people are like I said, people are already paying for August, September. Some people pay for all the way up until October. It's still open. Obviously, I haven't made any post about it. I'll probably repost it around the 1st, maybe Saturday or something. Don't want people to sign up for 3 days and then start a whole month. But it is exclusive to the Discord channel, $3 a month. Have over 20 people in the channel right now. Everybody's pleased. So make sure that you get in there. If you want to be in there, just hit me up on a DM or look out for the tweet. Obviously, you guys did really well last night on the Raw end with the comments, the likes, the views on YouTube went really well. So NXT seemed to dip a little bit, but that I don't know why. A lot of people just don't really like NXT. Can't understand that, but that's just kind of how it is. So yeah. Also, there will not be no Sunday Night Scoops this Sunday or LFG. This is SummerSlam weekend, so I think I set the recaps an hour too late because I'm going to be in the Central Standard Time Zone this weekend. I believe I have it set. I think I have it set for 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which is 9:30 my time. So maybe that is correct. Saturday and Sunday for both of the recaps. It looks like the show's going to start at like 5-ish. We may go live earlier. We'll see. As soon as the post show's over, I'll probably go live. I don't want a lot of laps in between that. So as far as Sunday Scoops is concerned, you guys killed it last week. 17 likes on the stream. Definitely a record for my channel. Thank you so much for that. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I will draw 2 winners for the exclusive news channel. And then we also have the 2 big drawings for next Sunday. So make sure you guys tune into that. Tomorrow is a big day. It's a double header. The second show won't be on my YouTube channel because I got copyrighted last week for some music. But Queens of WWE will be on Kingpin. Man, bro, I'm getting so many hooks tonight, bro. Just insane. Freaking, I didn't play Jordan. He had a home run. I played James Wood. He didn't. Had Otani and Murakami together. Otani homer. It's just crazy. I need 1 hit from Kyle Tucker. So if you guys are keeping up with the Dodgers, I need one base. I got 2 bases on him and he singled in the second. So I need 1 base on Kyle Tucker. I also have him for a home run. I took Kyle Tucker and Kyle Stowers, so it kind of be a double pleasure. He loves that pitcher from the Mariners, so I'm hoping that he stayed in there a while. So if anybody keeps up with the Dodgers game, let me know. Kyle Tucker at least gets another single. I mean, he's got to at least get another single, right? being James Wood, I don't know. I can't believe I got away from Jordan. I knew it. I'm just dumb. Yeah, so this is your NXT recap live here on the EVP show. What's up, Kingpin? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Don't know what's going on with the fantasy football stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's not looking really good. Me and Kingpin are gonna keep working at it. For the first year, this is wild. Always, it's like depressing in a way. I've always done fantasy football. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. Truthfully, I really don't. I've always been able to scream for me, NXT. There you go. Make sure you hit that like button, Ariel. You missed out on scoops last week, but make sure you tune in next Sunday. You are in all 3 drawings. Well, you're in the last 2. To be in the 4th one, you would have to be present for the exclusive channel. But Kyle says, I like the video package with Kendall and Lola. Can't wait for the match next week. My bad again from last week. Oh, that wasn't your fault. I mean, I didn't know that was on me. I forgot to ask Miami that if there was music in your background. That wasn't your fault. I mean, I didn't think that YouTube would copyright like a half a minute of a song, but it didn't affect the channel, so it's okay. We will stream the Queens of WWE to my ex tomorrow, though. It won't be streaming on YouTube. I can't, unfortunately, with that music. If I get another copyright, they might shut the channel down, and then there's going to be a lot of people that's upset because they're going to miss out on scoops. So we will stream live to Kyle's X page, though. I mean, to my X page, but I will not be streaming it to my YouTube because, like I said, they copyrighted it last week for the Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. That got me a copyright strike, but it didn't go against my channel, so that's okay. I've already gotten one for playing a Cody Rhodes video. YouTube is really weirdos about that shit. You can cuss and everything else, but you can't play a song, which is just absolutely crazy. I don't know where everybody is. Is there another is there a stream going on tonight? 9 people. Like, that's weird. NXT is usually a lot bigger than this. But we'll go ahead and get into it. Like I said, tomorrow is Doubleheader Wednesday. I already have it advertised on X, on YouTube. I mean, on Instagram and TikTok. I finally learned how to use TikTok to use hashtags. Yeah, it's my TikTok is. I had to turn the notifications off because people are just going crazy on there with those videos that Miami and Greg make. Shout out to the Greg. Make sure you follow him and the DW Media Family Media page. 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, SummerSlam prediction show. I have 9 people joining me. Sometimes somebody drops, but I highly doubt that would be being SummerSlam. If you are not on this panel, I will be posting, I think, either next week, probably next week sometime, for the NXT Heat Wave. If you've never been on the show, or if you've never been on YouTube, or you want to come on YouTube, you don't have to show your face on camera. So don't be scared. If you want your voice heard, go ahead and comment. Come on to NXT Heat Wave prediction show. I had something tentative planned for the month of August as a collaboration with Mandy Nicole Sports. I haven't spoken back to her. I'm sure we may still be able. We had something planned, but it wasn't a tentative date. She's going to SummerSlam. That's should be sometime in August. I don't know what. Maybe we do a Raw recap, a SmackDown recap, or something. I don't know. We haven't discussed in detail, so be on the lookout for that. We've spoken a couple of times on X about collab, and she was cool with it, but she said she wanted to wait till after SummerSlam, so understandable. She's getting ready to go, so be on the lookout for that. But after the prediction show, if you're not on the panel, come turn the notification bell on and come and join us tomorrow. Put your predictions in the comments. We're going to be predicting all 12 matches for SummerSlam. So it'll be 10 of us Fun times as always. We get it done early. When we're done, we'll immediately go over to another platform, another show, which is Queens of WWE. It will be streamed to my X page, DW Television X, I believe on DW TV, Twitch as well. I don't think they stream it to Miami and Final Boss Baby's YouTube because YouTube probably would copyright. So not really sure. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I know I won't be streaming it live on my YouTube tomorrow. Because they will copyright it with that song. So if the song wasn't in there, then I definitely would put it on the YouTube. Grayson wants to fight. He don't know who Cruz Santana is. Grayson cooked. Grayson Waller cooked. I've been wondering where he was. I did post an exclusive channel that Cruz Santana was going to be starting his feud up with Tony D tonight, which is ultimately going to either lead to a triple threat with him and Grayson and Tony D at Heatwave, or it's going to be Tony D and Cruz Santana. I got to get used to calling him Cruz because obviously I covered TNA for so long. So Cruz Santana, obviously, he's in the mix for the NXT Championship. I think we're getting a double champ next week. Cesaria is going after Ren Sinclair. Can't really see Zarya losing, truthfully. I think that would make her look pretty weak. And Sol Rico was the last one to ever hold the NXT Women's North American Championship and Speed Championship at the same time. And it seems like they're trying to pattern Zarya a little bit after Sol. So I think that would free Ran up. She's been a Speed champion a while. I don't know. I prefer, Cruz Montana. Cruz Montana, not Santana. Yeah, sorry about that. Cruz. It's going to definitely take me some time to get used to that. So, yeah, make sure join me Miami. I don't have the list in front of me. It'd be me, Miami, Tribal Kingpin, Kyle, Carlos, Khaled, Sean, Stampede, Caleb, Russell Fanatic, who's always up in scoops, and I might be leaving one or two out. If I am, I'm sorry. That's 10 of you guys. A lot to remember. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the SummerSlam predictions. If you're not, like I said, if you're not on the stream or on the panel, just put your predictions as we go in the comments. I will post them up on the board and tell everybody what you guys went with. This will be Tribal Kingpin's first time on the show. He's definitely been in the comments for almost all of them, but it's definitely his first time. So I don't know where Natty was. Probably doing Busted Open Radio stuff. But I did put in the exclusive channel that they are building up, and I told Kyle this on the phone. Also, he can confirm they are building up this Layla Diggs, Thea Hell, Jada Parker against Natty's faction. And obviously we're getting a tag match from that next week with Thea and Jada going up against Carmen Petrovic and the women's the WWE Women's Evolved champion Nikita Lyons. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the NXT recap from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando. I don't know where the viewers are. It's 11. It's crazy. So we're going to see the WWE NXT North American Champion Miles Bourne defending his title against Maxine Dupree's husband himself, Mr. Showtime Cam Hendricks, who I talked about Sunday on LFG. Plus the WWE LFG Season 2 winner, Mr. NXT Shiloh Hill, will face Mr. England, Tristan Angels, who I think is incredible in the ring and as a heel. I think he's going to be a mega star singles match. Shiloh is great too. Also in action, the Collins Izzy Dame goes one-on-one versus Lizzie Rain. Also posted an exclusive channel. Lizzie Rain is in for an extensive push, so we will see. I don't know if you guys watched the 2 count or whatever with the coach and JD from NY today, but they absolutely unloaded on TKO and Creative. If you don't sub to them, it's Beyond the Turnbuckle, Jonathan Coachman. and JD from NY, they absolutely lit WWE and TKO on fire today. With the creative decisions and the booking, all the stuff about Danhausen and all that. So make sure you check that out. It's definitely a crazy one to watch. And JD last night just absolutely torched TKO. He said Triple H needs to be fired immediately. So we're getting a tag team match with OTM, Lucian Price and Bronco Neiman versus Birthright. I was a little bit surprised with the winners here, but thought OTM may get the win, but with one of them being involved in AAA, it makes sense. Uriah Connors, Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. We're going to hear for the first time since leaving TNA. He's the former TNA World Champion, now known as Cruz Montana. It's not Hannah Montana's brother, but it's actually Cruz Montana. So I got to get that eclipsed in my mind. So the show opens up with a video package recapping last week's episode. Big Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T welcome us to NXT. And we see Grayson Waller. We have not seen him on WWE television for quite a while. I've been wondering where Grayson was. He wasn't released. He obviously was with the A-Town Down with Austin Theory. He cut a pipe bomb tonight, in my opinion. Oh gosh, he really let loose. If there's anything I let out, like leave out, I'll obviously try to remember. I try to remember all of it. The one thing he definitely said that 100% made sense was only about 10% of the people in the back they're all itching to go up to the main roster, but only 10% are actually ready to go to the main roster, and they're all females. So he was talking mad crap about the men's division. And he also told Shawn Michaels not to cut him off and to tune up his band. So Grayson was letting it loose. We see Grayson Waller in the ring. Good to see Grayson back on TV, even though he's demoted to NXT. Grayson said it's about time he started rattling some cages. He then says he recalls making his main roster debut in the main event at Madison Square Garden. Waller then says he recalls breaking his leg on the announce desk, and most people would have drowned under the lights. Grayson then reminds everyone of him winning the SmackDown tag titles at WrestleMania 40. He did that. Did he? Yes, he did. Grayson Waller then says he felt on top of the world, but then something changed. Grayson then says it's not his work ethic or talent. Grayson Waller says he was too honest, or maybe he didn't politic or kiss anyone's rear end. Good stuff there. Grayson Waller then says the last few years of his career have been an absolute embarrassment. Grayson Waller then says he carried Austin Theory on his back. Big words there, making him relevant again. Grayson then says Austin Theory is still allergic to the microphone. Whoa. I wonder what Maxine thinks about that. Grayson Waller then says he pretended he was at a funeral during the last year of his career. Grayson Waller then says he wore the silly hat and told the world how good someone else was. Grayson Waller then says he was dressed for a funeral, but the only thing dying was his career. Grayson then says it's a new day, and he got himself in the best shape of his life. Grayson Waller then says he's hungrier than he's ever been. Grayson then admits he's got demons that have been keeping him awake at night. Grayson Waller then says his goal is to do something he hasn't done, and that is win the NXT Championship. Didn't know he hadn't won that. Grayson Waller then says it was held by the best. Grayson then says people get sent up to the main roster because he is a hero. Grayson Waller then says he is not a commercial break person. That's when he tells them don't cut me off. Tell Shawn to tune up the band. When he talked about the main roster, that's when he was talking about a lot of people in the back are itching to go up to the main roster, but they're not really ready at this particular time. Only 10% are, and they're all females. So he was cooking. Grayson was cooking on the microphone. So Grayson says he's coming for the title. Grayson Waller then says he's coming for Cruz, Montana, and he likes the name. Grayson then says there will be a shiny. He tells Cruz there's going to be a shiny new toy in 6 weeks, and you will be forgotten by the fans. Grayson Waller then says being the best in TNA in 2026 is like being the best at the YMCA. Whew. That's a good one right there. Grayson then says there was no one left for you, Tony. Grayson then says you can go home and care for your newborn baby girl. I think it's a little girl. A production assistant then tells Grayson Waller to wrap it up, and Grayson says he is not going anywhere. Grayson Waller then tells everyone to get off the phone and watch what I do. That's when he told Sean to tune up the band. Kyle says 3 women's match next week. That's awesome. It was good tonight, but it was mainly backstage segment. Yeah. So next week I think it's Kendall versus Lola, NXT Women's Championship, and the Underground match. That will be Lola Vice's last match on NXT as she gets ready to move up to the main roster in SmackDown. We're going to see Jada Parker and Thea Hill against Karma Petrick and Nikita Lyons, and and we're gonna get Zarya versus Rhea Sinclair for the women's speed title. So 3 women's matches next week. You didn't notice something. What was that? What was I supposed to? Maybe I'm missing something. Grayson says the main roster is soft. The men's roster is soft. Grayson then says the women are running laps around you, but 90% of you think you should be called up. Grayson then says maybe 10% are ready, but it's all women. Grayson Waller then says you want to play wrestler for 6 months and impress the girls. Grayson then talks about the independent talents, but you put a mic in their hand and it all goes away. Grayson then says Shawn Michaels is smiling because he is telling the truth. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Grayson Waller then says the division is for the taking. Grayson then says none of you have done a thing about it. Grayson then says he is going to take every opportunity because he is trying to remember who he is. The mic is then turned off, and he said he doesn't need a mic. Grayson then says he just took one. Grayson then says consider your cages rattled, and the camera cuts to black abruptly. Grayson Waller cut a CM Punk type pipe bomb to kick off NXT television tonight. Absolutely blowing on the entire roster. Good stuff. Man, it's really good stuff from Grayson Waller. So we're going to go to the first match of the night. Well, not yet. Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, the men's NXT North American champion, are talking about Grayson Waller backstage. Obviously, Miles Bourne has a match tonight, and if they win, then next week we will see Miles and Tavion go against the Vanity Project for the tag titles. Tavion tells him to win tonight, and they can face the Vanity Project, and then Mason Rook shows up. Mason then says he is getting his hands on Cam Hendricks, and Miles reminds him that he has a match against Cam tonight. Will Mason Rook stay out of the North American title match tonight? We'll see. So we finally get to our first matchup of the night. 101, Lizzie Rain. The names, the Rain and Dame. Makes her way down to the ring for the first match of the night, followed by Izzy Dame, who is accompanied to the ring by Nico Vance of the Cullen. 101. So the ladies are in the ring. The match starts off with both women locking up. Izzy backs Lizzie into the ropes. Izzy then hits a chop. Both women lock up again. Izzy misses a chop, and Lizzie Rain delivers a chop. Lizzie then cinches in a waistlock into a side headlock. Lizzie does a matrix type move and goes for a cutter, but Izzy Dame hits a clothesline. Lizzie then hits a kick from the mat and hits several more chops. Izzy Dame then hits an Irish whip, and Lizzie floats over and chops Izzy Dame. Izzy then pulls Lizzie Rain off the turnbuckles and follows it up with a clothesline. Their names are just too close together. Izzy then sends Lizzie Rain into the turnbuckles. Izzy then hits a suplex, goes for the pin, but Lizzie Rain kicks out at 2. Lizzie then gets a roll up. Izzy kicks out at 2. Lizzie then hits a kick to the knee and a spinning back heel kick to Izzy Dame. Lizzie Rain then hits a forearm and a chop. Lizzie Rain then hits a headbutt. Izzy Dame fights back with several kicks, but Lizzie Rain ends up hitting a springboard back elbow, and Izzy Dame goes to the floor. Izzy Dame then blocks a drop kick through the ropes, and Izzy sends Lizzie Rain into the apron and follows it up with a big boot. Izzy then sends Lizzie back into the ring, and Izzy hits a running shoulder in the corner and follows it up with more shoulder tackles. Izzy Dame then hits a short arm clothesline. Izzy then hits a release suplex, and she kicks Lizzie in the head. Izzy then goes for a suplex, but Lizzie gets an inside cradle, but Izzy Dame kicks out at 2. Izzy then sent to the floor, and Lizzie Rain goes for a drop toe hold, but Izzy stays on her feet. Lizzie Rain then goes for a suplex, and Izzy locks it in and hits a release suplex for only a count of 2. Izzy then cinches in her rear chin lock, and Lizzie Rain hits a jawbreaker. Izzy then hits a clothesline for a near fall. Izzy then hits several kicks to Lizzie Rain. She applies a rear chin lock. Lizzie Rain then gets back to her feet, and she punches Izzy to get out of the hold. Lizzie Rain then hits several punches and chops. Lizzie then hits several chops. Izzy hits a backbreaker. Izzy then sends Lizzie to the apron, and Lizzie Rain hits a kick and goes up top, but she delivers a missile drop kick off the top rope, and then hits a clothesline and a back elbow. But then she misses a back heel kick, but then she hits a round kick and an exploder. Lizzie Rain then hits several chops in the corner. Izzy then pushes Lizzie away, and Izzy hits a code breaker. Lizzie then hits a rolling elbow, and Lizzie goes up top. Lizzie then leaps over Izzy. A lot of Lizzies and Izzy's, and Lizzie hits a boot to Izzy Dame. Izzy then catches Lizzie off the ropes for a blue thunder bomb for a count of 2. Lizzie Rain then hits a forearm, and Izzy fires back. They go back and forth. Izzy Dame then gets advantage, and Lizzie Rain escapes a power bomb. Lizzie then gets a backslide for a count of 2. Izzy then hits a spear, and both women go to the floor. Lizzie Rain then sends Izzy into the ring steps. Lizzie then sends Izzy back into the ring, and Lizzie hits a Death Valley driver for only a count of 2. Izzy Dame fights back, hits a knee to Izzy and a crucifix bomb, but Lizzie Rain kicks out at 2. Izzy Dame then hits a boot to Lizzie, and she pulls Izzy up, but Lizzie Rain hits a cutter and a flying headbutt. Nico Vance then gets on the apron. He blocks the punch, and then Izzy then ends up hitting a boot to Lizzie Rain, and Sean Spears appears with a hoodie and a hat to take out Nico Spears, and Lizzie Rain then hits Thunderstruck for the 1, 2, 3. Lizzie Rain is victorious tonight over Izzy Dame in a very hard-fought competitive match. So a big push coming for Lizzie Rain. They really love her, the fans especially. Kyle says that he really likes Izzy Dame. I'll be fine for her to be champion again. Maybe NXT Women's Champion in the future, maybe next year. Yeah, she's been working some on Main Event. So she has won the NXT Women's North American Championship twice, I believe. There's just so many people right now that could win the Women's NXT Championship. Kendall's going to be holding it for a while. I mean, Ren Sinclair faced Lyra Valkyria on the dark match last night at Raw. So they are working a lot of the NXT talent up on the main roster. We could see that happen, possible, but there's so many sharks in that pond for Kendall Gray. So we see Romeo Moreno, Cruz Montana, and Noam Dar in the lounge to talk about what they can do. Cruz Montana making his first segment. Saquon Sugars then shows up, and Noam apologizes about last week, but says they did fine. Saquon then tells Cruz Montana the last time he saw him, he was kicking his ass all over Madison Square Garden. Saquon then says he is a changed man, and you can see what he is going to do. Kalani Jordan then shows up, and she tells Cruz Montana what is going to happen when he signs the contract. Kalani then says she never has had a title match. He said something back to Kalani and then walked away. Kalani was griping about not getting a title match. Cruz Montana is already making a splash backstage. So we go to the NXT general manager, Robert Stones. Shout out to World of Greg for reposting the stream at DW Family Media page on X. Make sure you follow that page. We see Robert Stone talking to the Vanity Project. The Vanity Project complained about the tag title division and the idea that Miles and Tavion can get a title match. Jackson Drake then says he knows that Miles can win. They will have the North American title. Keanu Carver shows up, and he has been creating all kinds of ruckus and havoc backstage, but he was very calm tonight. You've seen Mika Lockwood from Vanity Project give Keanu Carver's a pretty weird look. I would keep my eye on that. I think something's going to be brewing there with them two, so we'll see. They are really good friends, and they were on LFG. So she gave him like a, not like a nasty look either, like, you know what I mean? Kiana shows up. They leave except for Mika. Like I said, she gave him a weird look. Kiana says he wants a match, and Robert Stone says is surprised that it was so easy. So Kiana Carver wants to face EK Prosper next week. Robert Stone gets on the phone and tells Grayson Waller to immediately get back to the building. I wonder where Mika and Kiana's story goes beyond that segment. I think it's going to be, for me, I haven't asked Kingpin, but it seems to be some sort of maybe she ends up leaving Jackson Drake for him. They, her and Kiana Carver have a really long history together at LFG. So they're really good friends. So that's a possibility. We have not talked about Layla yet because we haven't got to that segment yet, but I will, I promise. Layla Diggs is out right now. But I did talk about Layla. I said, I feel like it's in my exclusive news channel. I said, I feel like Layla and Thea and Jada Parker are going to all be teaming up to face at one point to face Natty, Carmen, and Nikita Lyons at some point. So Robert Stone tells Grayson Waller to get back to the building. We then take a look at the NXT Underground match. And let me tell you this from wrestling experiences. I've been watching this for 20 plus years, guys. When they talk about somebody being undefeated, like I talked about on the Raw recap last night, once again, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. It helps me out in the algorithm and the analytics. We can't let NXT fall out of its spot. Big Brother is slowly trying to catch up to NXT, so it's not far behind. They talked about Brock being undefeated all night last night at Hell in a Cell matches. Obviously, that's going to change Saturday. And they talk about Lola Vice being undefeated in the NXT Women's Underground matches. That's obviously going to change next week as well, as she's moving up to the main roster. But good promo segment from both ladies. Lola Vice said Kendall Gray doesn't know how to prove herself in this type of match. Lola then says the champion cannot just be happy to be here. Lola then says Kendall will run the division one day, but not while she's still here. Lola then says she has the advantage. She will expose Kendall. She's always ready for the underground. So it looks like Kendall has somebody training her as well. I believe it's somebody from the Creed brothers, if I'm not mistaken. So we see Thea Hell. Okay, Ariel, we're getting ready. We see Thea Hell. She says she is glad that Jada Parker won last week. She then says the right person won. Jada then says she hasn't been a good friend to her, but she thanks her. Thea then says she knows how hard it is. Jada then says Natty made it feel like she was alone. Thea then says they have a tag match against Carmen and Nikita next week. So that is official. Next week, Thea Hill and Jada Parker will be in a tag match against Nikita Lyons and Carmen Petrick. I'm assuming Natty will be back to be by their side. I think that's possibly where we see Layla Diggs get involved. This is going to be a 6-woman tag match at some point. I don't know the extent of Layla's injury, but if it's not too serious, she could possibly come back next week to set up that 6-woman ladies tag match. So that's where they're going with it. Jada says she appreciates Thea, and they hug. Then we see Showtime himself, Mr. Maxine Dupree's husband, Cam Hendricks, makes his way out to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by the men's NXT North American champion, Miles Bourne. This is for the WWE NXT men's North American championship. Miles Bourne has been champion for quite a while. And obviously, it's weird because you got 2 men in this match one is married to somebody that's on the main roster, and Maxine Dupree, and then Miles Bourne is obviously dating Stephanie Bakor. So, yeah, so interesting. So, get to the match. The match starts off with both men locking up. Cam Hendricks tries to overpower Miles. Miles then gets a takedown. Miles and Cam then continue to wear each other down early in the match. Both men trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Cam Hendricks slams Miles down. Miles Bourne then hits a standing drop kick. Miles Bourne then launches himself over the top rope, taking out Cam Hendricks. Cam Hendricks then trips Miles Bourne up on the apron. The fight then continues on the outside. Cam Hendricks then sends Miles Bourne face first into the hardest part of the apron. Miles Bourne then sends Cam Hendricks to the post and delivers a clothesline. Back in the ring, Miles Bourne hits an inverted slam, but Cam kicks out at 2. Miles Bourne then runs into a knee. Cam Hendricks fires backwards. He slams Miles Bourne head first into the post. Cam then hits a knee right to the face of Miles Bourne. Cam Hendricks then slams Miles Bourne down to the mat for only a count of 2. Cam Hendricks then applies a rear chin lock. Cam then drops his elbow into the heart of Miles Bourne for a near fall. Cam then wears Miles Bourne down. Cam Hendricks then hits a series of right hands. Miles Bourne then tries to fight back. Miles then fights back with a series of clotheslines. He follows it up with a back body drop. Miles then hits a standing drop kick, sending Cam to the floor. Miles Bourne then hits a devastating Randy Orton-looking power slam. Miles then goes for the Bourne again, but Cam Hendricks counters with a crossbody. Cam then sends Miles Bourne into the post. Miles Bourne then hits another power slam. Randy Orton-esque. Baby Orton is what I call him, but Cam kicks out at 2. Miles Bourne then goes for a suicide dive, but he runs into an elbow. We then see Tavion Heights. Mason Rooks trying to make his way out to the ring, but Tavion Heights is out to stop him from interfering in the match. Cam Hendricks then hits a Showtime kick, but Miles Bourne kicks out at 2. Then Miles Bourne then delivers and hits the Bourne again to Cam Hendricks for the 1, 2, 3. Miles Bourne in a hard-fought victory, defeated Showtime Cam Hendricks. So that sets up Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights next week against the Vanity Project for the men's tag team championship. Could we get 2 people that are going to be double strapped next week? Because Miles has a chance to become a double champion, and so does Zarya. After the match, Mason Rook attacks Cam Hendricks and takes the fight to the outside. The Vanity Project then ambushes Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. Miles Bourne and Tavion then clear the ring, and they stand tall over the heels. So that possibly means that maybe Miles and Tavion may not win next week. We'll see. Vanity Project, good champs. So we see Emily Agard, one of the backstage reporters of NXT. She's been there a few months now. She's with Lizzie Rain. She asked what's next for her. Lizzie's eating some sort of chicken or something. I don't know. Lizzie says she gets tired after a match. She learned from Shallow Hill, and she gives her some chicken. They both eat some. I guess it's chicken. Tristan Angel shows up. He tells Lizzie maybe she will reconsider her role models. So, I don't know. It looks like she was eating a box of chicken to me. Popcorn chicken. It was KFC's popcorn chicken. The underground match can wait. The Maiden of Metal has her sights set on KFC's popcorn chicken. Her and Emily Agar was eating some KFC popcorn chicken in the back. We then see Bronco Neiman and Lucien Price in the room, and Angel and Berto are also there. They tell Bronco it is all about them, and Lucien isn't that excited to see them. Triple H stuff. We then see Robert Stone. He's talking on the phone with Grayson Waller, and he wants him in his office now. Zarya walks up to Robert Stone, and she wants to know who's next for her. Who's next in line to challenge for that Women's NXT North American Championship? Then Ren Sinclair, the Women's NXT Speed Champion, walks into Robert Stone's office and asks him about her next challenger. Robert Stone then says he needs to organize a tournament. It seems like we're getting a match between Zarya and Ren Sinclair. Ren Sinclair said, well, if you're looking for a challenger, I can be that challenger. So the way it's going to work, similar to how it happened with Miles Bourne tonight, if Ren Sinclair defeats Zarya and retains her Speed Championship, she will get a Women's NXT North American Championship opportunity down the line. So we'll see if that happens. Robert Stone makes it official and says if Ren beats Zarya next week, she'll get a future opportunity at the NXT Women's North American Championship. We'll see if Ren can pull a fast one. I don't know. I think that would make Zarya look pretty weak, but are they going to double strap Zarya? We'll see. So we're going to the tag team match. Birthright make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by OTM. Lucien Price and Bronco Neiman versus Birthright. Uriah Connors and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo with this Beyonce was out there as well. So the match starts off with Bronco Neiman, Uriah Connors locking up. Shannon Stacks Lorenzo then comes in. He applies a side headlock. Bronco Neiman then runs into a big boot. Bronco Neiman then sends Uriah Connors into the corner and tags Lucien Price in. Uriah Connors and Price in exchange chops. Stacks then chops Neiman down from behind. Neiman then hits a double suplex on Stacks. Oh gosh, not my phone doing this crap again. It was doing so good. I almost said Ariana Grande, but it's Ariana Grace. A lot of stuff in here to cover. I hate when it does this. Okay. So Connors and Price exchange chops. Lorenzo chops Neiman down from behind. Neiman then hits a double suplex on Lorenzo and Connors, and OTM regains control. OTM then launches Shannon Stacks over the top rope, wiping out the entire Birthright. So Alexis King out there as well, and Charlie Dempsey. Price and clotheslines Lorenzo in the corner, but Bronco Neiman is a legal man now, and he hits a kick to Uriah Connors and a backbreaker to Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. Lorenzo then hits a code breaker to Bronco Neiman, and Birthright has taken control of Bronco Neiman. Lorenzo then applies a rear chinlock on Bronco Neiman in the middle of the ring. Shannon Stacks Lorenzo then hits a cheap shot to Lucien Price. Connors then hits a swanton bomb on Bronco Neiman for a near fall. Bronco Neiman then drops Shannon Stacks Lorenzo into the canvas with a stomp. Lucien Price then takes the fight to Birthright. He then hits a splash to both men in the corner. Lorenzo then accidentally superkicks Connors, and we see Angel and Berto have made their way out to the ring. Uriah Connors then superkicks Price. Shannon Stacks Lorenzo and Uriah Connors then hit a double super kick for the 1, 2, 3. Did Los Perros del Mal cost OTM? That's what it looks like from AAA. The winners of the tag team match is Birthright, Uriah Connors, and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. After the match, we see Angel and Berto standing behind OTM. Lucian Price then shakes hands with Bronco Nima. So we get the other half of the promo for the NXT Women's Underground Championship match next week. Kendall Gray, the champion. She cuts a promo and says this will be the biggest match of her career in an NXT Underground match. Kendall Gray says she has been training with her head. Kendall's father then talks about how she would prepare for the match. Kendall then says she is the underdog, but that is why she took the match. Kendall then says she brought in some extra help, and we see her training with Julius Creed of the Creed brothers. I know it was one of the Creed brothers. Kendall then says she wouldn't be in WWE if it wasn't for Julius Creed. Maybe they're dating. I don't know. Could be. So interesting promo there from the women's NXT champion. Maybe she is dating Julius Creed. So we see Callie Armstrong in the back. She says she should have been the one instead of Lola Vice in the underground squabbling with Kendall Gray. They're setting up that future match with Callie and Kendall, even though it's happened a couple times already in Evolve. Izzy Dane then walks up to her and says Callie Armstrong just got here and she should wait in line. Then Kalani Jordan enters the scene. As I said, it's a pool of sharks. It says she already pinned both women. She then says she will be the NXT Women's Champion in the future. But then from behind all of those ladies, Rena Balkan, which me and Kyle talked about last week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, as I'm sure we'll be talking about Rena Balkan some more. She comes up behind the ladies and she said, this women's division doesn't rebuild, it reloads. So she put them all on notice. So then Shiloh Hill makes his way down to the ring for the main event of the night. He will be going one-on-one with Tristan Angels. WWE LFG Season 2 winner, Mr. NXT Shiloh Hill versus Mr. England himself, Tristan Angels. So the match starts off with Shiloh blocking a punch, and he hits a headbutt. Tristan Angel then hits a big boot. Shiloh charges into the corner. Shiloh Hill then hits a back body drop and a clothesline. Tristan Angel then hits a double thrust to the throat. Shiloh then hits an elbow and a shoulder breaker for a count of 2. Tristan Angel then sends Shiloh into the turnbuckles and to the mat. Tristan then hits an elbow to the back of the head. Tristan then hits a chop. Shiloh Hill then hits a face buster, and he sends Tristan Angels to the mat. Shiloh Hill then hits a flying shoulder tackle, and Tristan Angel goes to the floor. Shiloh Hill then follows him out to the floor. Tristan then tries to Irish whip Shiloh into the apron. Shiloh tries to swing on the apron, but Tristan stops him and hits a hanging neck breaker. Tristan then slams Shiloh's head into the apron and kicks him. Tristan then goes for a pinfall, but Shiloh kicks out at 2. Tristan Angels then hits a suplex and gets a near fall. Tristan then cinches in a reverse chinlock. Shiloh then backs Tristan into the turnbuckles, and Tristan Angel gets on Shiloh Hill's back. Shiloh Hill then drops to the mat to escape. Tristan Angels then rolls to the apron. Tristan Angel then drops Shiloh on the top rope, and he hits an elbow. Tristan Angel then gets a near goes for the pinfall, but only gets 2 twice in a row. And he cinches in a Japanese type stranglehold. Tristan Angels then sends Shiloh Hill to the mat and hits a forearm, but goes for the pin, but there's only a 2 count. Shiloh then goes for a snapmare and he escapes. Shiloh delivers a punch. Tristan Angels hits an Irish whip. Tristan then blocks a boot and hits a hanging backbreaker. Shiloh then hits several punches, and Tristan punches back. Shiloh then hits a forearm and a boot. Shiloh then hits a slam and an inward senton for a near fall. Shiloh Hill then puts Tristan Angels on the turnbuckles, and Shiloh joins him. Tristan then hits several chops, and Shiloh goes to the mat. Shiloh Hill then catches Tristan Angels, and he hits a power slam for only a count of 2. Shiloh then goes to the turnbuckles, and Tristan hits the ropes, and Shiloh Hill falls on the ropes in the wrong spot, the worst spot possible. Tristan hits a step-up enziguri, goes for a superplex, and he hits it, but Shiloh kicks out at 2. Tristan then slaps Charlotte several times in the face, gets him fired up. Charlotte slaps back and he clotheslines Tristan Angels over the top rope and to the floor. Tristan Angels then sends Shiloh Hill into the announce desk. Tristan Angels then sends Shiloh Hill into the ring steps. Tristan then sets up for a curb stomp to the back of the head on the ring step, but Shiloh moves. Shiloh Hill then hits a power bomb onto the announce desk and then throws him back in the ring, and then Shiloh goes for the pin, but Tristan kicks out at 2. Tristan then escapes a belly to back suplex, and Tristan gets a roll up and a hand on the ropes, but the referee stops the count. Tristan was trying to cheat to win. Shiloh Hill then hits a pop-up forearm and a shoulder in the corner. Shiloh then hits a neck breaker from the turnbuckles for the 1, 2, 3. So Shiloh Hill was victorious tonight. What a match against Mr. England himself, Tristan Angels. So we then see Cruz Montana walking in the backstage area. So before we get to his segment, it is then announced that next week, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights will face Vanity Project for the men's NXT Tag Team Championships. Thea Hill and Jada Parker will face Carmen Petrovic and the women's NXT Women's Evolve champion Nikita Lyons. Rand Sinclair will defend her women's NXT Speed Championship against Zarya. If she wins, she will get a future women's NXT North American Championship title shot in the future. And in the main event, Kendall Gray will defend against Lola Vice in the NXT Underground match. Do you think it was the right call for Tristan to lose both matches to Charlotte, and is this feud over? I think both need new opponents. I probably would have split, truthfully, because I believe that Tristan's really good as well. But they are really, really high on Charlotte Hill. He's coming off a LFG win. They're pushing him to the moon. I do think it's time for them to move on. We could see one more, but I don't really think it's necessary since Charlotte beat him twice in a row. But I would have preferred to split and maybe had like a rubber match or something like that before they moved on to someone else. But at this point, with Charlotte winning both matches, I think it's time for them to both move on to new feud. But we'll see. I don't think Tristan's going to lay down lightly like that. So we go to Cruz Montana. That is all the matches next week. I think we're going to get Keanu Carter and EK Prosper next week as well. So Cruz Montana makes his way out to the ring through the NXT universe. Big pop from the crowd. Cruz then says he prides himself on being real. He's going to keep it 100. Montana then says he is officially a WWE superstar. Cruz then says there are a lot of times that he didn't think he would see tomorrow. Cruz then says every single day was a struggle and a fight to survive. Cruz then admits he's made mistakes he can't take back, but he learned he was fighting the man in the mirror. Cruz then says he thought WWE wasn't meant for him. Cruz then says he had to make a decision and became a man that his daughter deserved to call a father. Deep words right there from Cruz. Cruz then says he was told he reached his ceiling as a tag team wrestler and he couldn't be the guy. He says he fought the toughest battles within himself for 20 years and he was on a losing streak. Montana then says he started to win. Every single step forward was him chasing validation. Montana then says he rebuilt his career. Montana says he loves and appreciates what TNA did for him. Montana then says he stands here as a WWE superstar and not a damn thing was given to him. Montana then says he is not going to allow his past to dictate his future. Montana says he's not here to fill a spot, but he's here to take a spot, and that spot is the new WWE Men's NXT Champion. Montana then turns his attention to Grayson Waller. Montana tells Waller that was one heck of a promo, and he tells Grayson, he said, whatever I will say it directly to your face. And then out comes Tony. He said something about them meeting at the YMCA as well. Tony D'Angelo's music hits. The men's NXT champion. He makes his way down. He welcomes Montana to NXT. Tony D then says, since you wanted to interrupt him last week, he wanted to properly introduce himself. Tony D then says he is the NXT champion. Tony D then says he has seen some of the hottest names come in here and talk about changing the business and NXT. Tony D then says he believes everything that Montana said except for one thing. Tony D then says, you want the spot of NXT champion? Tony D then says that spot is taken until further notice. Tony D then says you can be the realest, the nastiest, and the baddest, but you will not be the champion. Montana then says he will show D'Angelo how he is going to take that spot. But then Grayson Waller then attacks Cruz Montana from behind and kicks Montana. Tony D'Angelo then delivers a punch to Montana. Grayson Waller then moves, and Cruz Montana accidentally clotheslines Tony D'Angelo. D'Angelo, Grayson Waller, Cruz Montana then stare at each other down in the ring as the show comes to a close. That's why I said I believe we're setting ourselves up for a triple threat here. Or maybe Cruz and Grayson one-on-one, with the winner facing Tony D at Heatwave. That could be what we're headed for. So again, the matches for next week, that was the end of the NXT. Really good show. Next week, Keanu Carver goes one-on-one with EK Prosper. Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights face Vanity Project for the Tag Team Championships. Dia Hill and Jada Parker will face Carmen Petrovic and the Women's Evolved Champion, Nikita Lyons. The WWE NXT Speed Champion Ren Sinclair defends against Zarya for that title. If Ren is successful, she will get a future NXT North American Championship in the future. And in the main event, Kendall Gray will defend the NXT Women's Championship against Lola Vice in an NXT Underground match. So that is it, guys. That is your NXT recap here on the EVP show. Tuesday, July 28th, we are almost to SummerSlam, guys. So like I said, shout out to everyone. I know it's a small crowd, but it usually is pretty much for NXT. It's like already almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast. But shout out to Colin and Anthony coming in. I'll see you tomorrow twice. Also, Tribal Kingpin, I'll see you also for the SummerSlam prediction show. Shout out to Ariel as well. Shout out to World of Greg, and shout out to at the DWE Family Media page. Grayson Wants to Fight, Cruz Montana, Kingpin. Shout out to all you guys for reposting the stream. Shout out to DWE Media page for reposting the stream. Okay, so we are, like I said, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button on the stream. If you are able to go back, the people that have not been in here or have not watched, if you are able to watch the stream back, leave your comments, concerns, questions, anything in the comments. I will go back and answer them because I always get notifications when I get a comment from a future recent show. We're also live on my X page, and we're also live on DWE Television's X page. Make sure you follow DWE Television on X. Make sure you follow the DWE Media page as well on X. But with the DWE Television page, first we have the CEO himself, Miami the Great, who you can find every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time live on DWE Television, Talk It Up Podcast, DWE Television, and DWE TV on Twitch and on I believe it's on Spotify as well. For Inside the NFL Mind with Miami, normally every Saturday you can catch Miami and Final Boss Baby. Make sure you follow her. She is the CFO and HR of DWE. Also follow her on X. You can find them usually every Saturday for DWE Radio on all the same platforms that I just announced. Talk It Up Podcast being the one on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscription button on YouTube. We seen the World of Greg, great promotional and marketing director for DWE. Make sure you follow him on X and follow the DWE Media page on X. You can catch the World of Greg and Kyle and Matt Anthony every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the rundown. I don't know how much of a rundown we're going to get this week with it being right after Raw. Obviously, we're expecting some returns. It's going to be the fallout of SummerSlam, so it should be a lot better Raw than what we got the last 2 weeks. But catch them every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, live on DW television for the rundown. Speaking of Kyle the Man Anthony, tomorrow you can catch Kyle the Man Anthony, the host, and myself, the co-host, for Queens of WWE episode number 7. You can catch that every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It will be live on my X and on DW Television X. And I believe it's going to be live on Twitch as well. So I will not be streaming to my YouTube, unfortunately. But make sure to follow Kyle the Man Anthony. He will also be joining me on the prediction show along with Miami and Tribal Kingpin tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, SummerSlam prediction show. Also, the Reckless One himself, Director Reg, Absolute Slam Podcast on X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Smoke Sessions Podcast, and Sports Jedi Network, and everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media. Once again, guys, this has been your NXT Recap live here on the EVP Show, Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. I will be back shortly to tell you guys where you can find me on my social media platforms and what I have coming up for you guys for the rest of this SummerSlam week. Stay tuned.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
Once again, this has been your NXT Recap Show live here on the EVP Show. Thank you so much to everyone. Got over 80 plus subscribers in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, which brought me up to 312 before SummerSlam. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's try to get to 400 next. Every 100, there will be a giveaway. So you guys just share that link with your friends. Keep retweeting. If you enjoy the content, just push the content. Help me push that content and the channel out there until we can get to 500. That is the ultimate goal here. That's the first long-term goal is 500, but we're at 312. So thank you guys so much for that. As far as my socials, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. All my links are in my bios. You can find me on X, EVPCJP on X. For some reason, X has a follow limit on me. I can only follow so many certain people at certain times. I guess it's like the mismatch between who I follow and who followed me back. I think it's about a 2,000 difference or something. Maybe that's it. I need to go in and start unfollowing. There's probably a bunch of bot accounts in there. But you can, if I follow you back, you can go all the way up to the top of my X page and you will find my YouTube page up top. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. Retweet it, share it with your friends if you enjoy my daily wrestling content. On Instagram, it's at EVPCJP. It's a business account. My YouTube is in my bio. You can see all the videos for the upcoming streams. You will see the one, you can already see the one posted for the SummerSlam prediction show. Posted on X, Instagram, and TikTok today, and also posted the video for Queens of WWE in there as well. Tomorrow, you will be able to see the Big Brother thumbnail that I will post on Instagram and TikTok, because that will be this show on Thursday, the week 3 recap of Big Brother. So looking forward to that. So on Instagram, it's the same handle at EVPCJP. You can see all the upcoming videos made by Miami and World of Greg. TikTok, finally learned how to use hashtags in there. That's why I'm getting more views, blowing up in there. You can find me on TikTok at Brady the Goat 21. That's at BRADYDA Goat 21. My YouTube is in my bio, and it still can see all the videos for the upcoming streams if you haven't seen them on X. Last but not least, most importantly, please hit that like and subscribe button to my YouTube channel. If you are subscribed, turn that notification bell on and come and join me for my daily wrestling content. If you cannot find my YouTube channel in any of my social media platforms, go to that search icon up in the right-hand corner and type in at the EVP show. Over 1,000 live videos, 500 plus shorts, and also you can see a couple of pre-records. So ultimate goal is 500. You guys killed it over the last 2 weeks. Over 80 subscriptions. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, everything will be rewarded. I will pay forward for you guys being so supportive and helping me out. So thank you guys so much for that. So what I have coming up for the rest of the week, tomorrow is Doubleheader Wednesday. It is the second biggest show, and it's crazy because it's my first ever show that I've ever done on YouTube 1 year ago today. It is going to be, I'm going to be joined by 9 others. It's going to be the SummerSlam prediction show live here on the EVP show. Like I said, if you're not on the panel, join us on the comment, turn that notification bell on, come and join us as we predict all 12 matches at SummerSlam tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then once that is completed, you can hop on over to DWE TV X page or my X page, whichever you prefer to watch it on, and tune in to me and Kyle the Man Anthony for Queens of WWE episode number 7. Thursday night, we shift gears back to reality TV. Who won the HOH? Who won the BB Time Capsule? Was it a power or a punishment? Who were the nominees? Who won the power veto? Was the power veto used? Who will win the BB Blockbuster? And who ultimately will be the last 2 people sitting on the eviction chairs? And who will join Ashley and Rome as the 3rd person evicted from Big Brother? Find out tomorrow night at, not tomorrow night, I'm sorry, Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 3 recap show. Friday night, it is the last show before SummerSlam. Tune in at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for you'll get the last qualifying match for the interim Ladies SmackDown Championship match at SummerSlam. Julia goes one-on-one with Lash Legend. Damian Priest and R-Truth, I believe, are defending against the War Raiders. So tune in at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time Friday night for your SmackDown recap show. And then it is SummerSlam weekend, guys. Join me Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the SummerSlam Night 1 recap show. And then Sunday, there is no scoops, there is no LFG, but rest assured, I will be live after the SummerSlam Night 2 main event and the post show is complete. Join me Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time for the SummerSlam Night 2 recap show. Once again, guys, that is the schedule for the rest of the week. Make sure you turn that notification bell on and come and join us. Let's get a big crowd in here tomorrow for that SummerSlam prediction show. We had a huge monster crowd last year. Let's fill it up in here, get a lot of comments. Want to hear what everybody's predictions are for SummerSlam tomorrow. So that will be at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It will be 10 of us predicting 12 matches. So looking forward to speaking with all them. They join me usually every prediction show, and I definitely appreciate them for that, for helping me fill the panel up every prediction show. With that being said, guys, this has been your NXT Recap Show live here on the EVP Show, Tuesday, July 28, 2026. I am the EVP from the EVP Show and the EVP, the Golden Boy of DWE. And DWE is the only place to be. You guys enjoy your Wednesday, but not too much. Sleep well tonight and get ready for Doubleheader Wednesday. Come back and join me, first off, me, Kyle the Man Anthony, Miami Travel Kingpin, Carlos Stampede, and a few others at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for the SummerSlam prediction show. And then right after that, join Kyle the Man Anthony and myself at 8 p.m. Eastern for Queens of WWE episode number 7. Happy Wednesday, happy SummerSlam week, and tune in, hit that notification bell on. Come join us tomorrow for Doubleheader Wednesday. Sorry. It's been a long week. Good night, everyone.